Let us take a look at the scene in Europe. Portugal, Spain, France, Greece, Morocco, firefighters battling wildfires that have consumed tens of thousands of hectares. This is linked to the second major heat wave of the summer. Temperatures in some places in the mid-40s in Europe, and in the UK potentially today, scenes of people on the beach trying to cool off because London is set to be one of, if not the hottest spot on the planet today. London, the UK, most unusual situation, and it's causing all sorts of heat warnings, warnings about what could happen to the transportation network, and that is why Ashley Burke is where she is today for us. She is at Paddington Station. Tell us all about that, the concerns about the trains, but also just about this incredible heat set to hit there today, Ashley.
Heather, officials are telling travelers not to come here and to not take a train unless it is absolutely necessary today. But take a look at the crowds here. Lots of people filling this station, and on the boards in the distance, you might be able to see there are already cancellations. And that's because when it gets this hot, the metal on the tracks, it can expand and contract, and it can warp. So trains have to go slower. Some of them are being canceled, and people being told, you know, unless you really have to, do not travel by train here today. This is expected to be one of the hottest places in the world. Heat could hit up to 41 degrees by tomorrow. And one expert told us that this is because of climate change and that the UK in particular is not ready for this. Take a listen.
Not ready for 40 degrees heat as is forecast tomorrow. We haven't experienced it before. The infrastructure is not set up for this sort of situation. So the roads are going to see areas melting. The rails are struggling.
Officials here, health officials, are on high alert. They're warning that people with underlying conditions could have heart attacks, strokes, cardiovascular issues. That just getting around today for those individuals can be dangerous and feel like a workout. Here's what one said.
This is serious heat that could actually ultimately end in people's death because it is so ferocious. And we're just not set up for that sort of heat in this country.
Officials are also warning that there could be blackouts if if some technology goes down. Blackouts, shortages of water, along with other issues today. So really urging people stay home if you can.
Ashley, we're going to talk with our doctor about extreme heat and the dangers of that based on the situation there. He's coming in just a few minutes, and that's one of the things we'll talk about with Dr. Labos. I'm going to bring in some pictures now, Ashley, because we were looking earlier this morning at a huge fire in Spain. And as I was mentioning, just one of a number of European countries dealing with wildfires linked to the heat wave that continental Europe is experiencing as well. Give us the overview of what's happening elsewhere.
Yeah, we're seeing incredibly dramatic footage of these huge red infernos. There are still many active fires across Europe. In Spain and Portugal, officials there estimate that at least 1,000 people have died in connection to this extraordinary heat that they're seeing there. There's also been thousands of people who've been evacuated, who've been forced to flee their homes. Take a listen to some of them.
Still very worrying to see that as soon as the wind picks up the next day, lots of little hot spots start on fire again, and it's nerve-wracking.
We've just grabbed a few essentials and just ran, really, and by that stage, everybody along the street, the Calio, was on the move.
Now there is warm air, that's scorching air, that's moving up towards the area we are right now in Western Europe, and it's expected to get worse throughout today and tomorrow, with temperatures hitting, like I said, up to potentially 41 degrees, which is just something people here in the UK aren't used to. Their bodies aren't acclimatized to it. There's not air conditioning in a lot of buildings. Over the weekend, Cabinet held emergency meetings. They have declared a national emergency and issued what's called a red extreme warning, which is the first time they've done so since that system was implemented last year, just bracing for extraordinary temperatures here today.
Ashley, thank you for all of that. You yourself stay cool for us. Really appreciate the reporting. Ashley Burke live in London for us today.